I've been with my husband for 8 years. I have 3 kids from my previous relationship, and my husband and I have a baby on the way. His first, our last. The problem is that for the past year, he has been letting my daughter get away with everything or have her own way 9 times out of 10. Edit. Literally since she started her period and started getting a menstrual attitude and hormonal rage because he doesn't want to piss her off. It's like he's afraid to tell my daughter no, and it absolutely has been pissing me off lately because I've spoken to him about it several times. She is starting to act incredibly spoiled. She's almost 12. It's things like if he goes to the store and she asks to go, he will say yes even if I've said no. If my sons are doing something and she wants to be included, but wants to 100% change the rules to her liking and they refuse to do so, she will whine to my husband about how the boys aren't playing fair and he will go tell the boys to be nice. Or she will put her feet all over the boys and laugh hysterically as they tell her to stop, but the second they put their feet on her, she starts screaming at them and runs to my husband to tell him they won't stop touching her. The number of times she has come running to my husband about the boys either not playing fair or being mean, and my husband jumping in and speaking to the boys is absolutely ridiculous and it's never warranted. As in the other day, she got hit in the head with a frisbee and she told my husband it was on purpose when it wasn't. He took her side and my son got in trouble for throwing the frisbee at his sister's face. It's gotten to a point where she's an absolute brat to me and refuses to ask me for anything and will 100% wait until my husband is home from work before starting in with her princess BS. She knows I won't tolerate it. And this is 100% my husband's fault because he's the one who turned her into this spoiled child. Despite my best efforts to stop it, I've even spoken to both of them. Frankly, I'm tired of repeating myself. So, last night, she comes out and asks to sleep on the couch. I said no, my husband and I were watching a movie. He then says, "We can wake her up when the movie is done." And she's like, "Promise." I flipped out. I said, "You're not sleeping on the couch. Go to bed now." And then I turned to my husband and said that if he tries overruling me one more time and continues to spoil my daughter, then we are getting divorced. He thinks I'm overreacting. ETA. I apologize for my post coming off as hatred for my daughter and husband. That is not the case. I'm simply over the behaviors and it's coming off as extreme resentment. My daughter is a damn good kid. However, she's simply a completely different kid around her brothers and my husband and has openly admitted that she knows what she's doing. If I can get away with it, then why would I stop? I made a small edit to the first paragraph, but I wanted to explain further on that. So, basically, this did start when she started her menstrual cycle last year. During this time, she picked fights with absolutely everybody, and as a result, my husband became a yes man when it came to my daughter because he didn't want to set her off, due to how she reacted when you told her no. He figured it was easier than having backlash because she would slam doors as hard as she could, putting holes in the wall, scream to a point of veins popping out of her neck, etc. So it's not like this has been happening the entire time. It's only been for a year, but she's picked up on it intensely and knows that she can now use this to her advantage. And yes, she is in therapy. We all are and have been for a few years, not for any other reason outside of us enjoying having an outlet. Comment 1. Therapy. Family, individual, couples. All of you need to start spending whatever money you can on therapy in the next 72 hours. Go through the posts about how all of these siblings are estranged beyond repair as adults because one of them was treated vastly differently, in either direction, from their siblings. There are thousands of these posts on Reddit. This does not stop with a bratty teenager. This continues into DUIs, chronic unemployment, being an abusive bride Gia, being a nightmare wife, being a just no mill, being all of these nightmare women we meet over and over and over again on this site. This girl is going to lose her whole family due to all of you except Daddy Dearest going no contact. This will impact your kids and their children, if there are any. Your husband is actively setting the stage for generational trauma, family estrangement, divorce, and more. He needs to be stopped. If I sound dramatic, it's because I'm the one holding the proverbial broom, cleaning up after 2 generations of these women. I almost was one of those women. Take action immediately before he absolutely ruins your children. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Your husband is totally undermining your parenting and ruining your daughter's character and her relationship with her brothers and you. Is couples counseling an option? And if yes, can you book a session? Your husband needs a good kick up the ass, metaphorically speaking. I know your daughter is behaving atrociously, but deep down you still like her, right? The way you talk about her, I see nothing but contempt and intense dislike. This isn't 100% her fault, of course. She's old enough to be held accountable for her behavior, but she is the victim of poor parenting. Do you have any positive and fun interactions with your daughter? And can you tell me one nice thing about her? I'd be incredibly angry at your husband if I was in your position. He is tearing apart the mother-child bond to such an extent that you might need family therapy with your daughter if it's an option. Comment 3. It might come off as a bit weird for me to say it in such a way, but I'm not sure how else to put it, so I lucked out with my boys. They are honestly perfect. Maybe I'm biased. They are the most understanding kids I've ever encountered in my life. So they see what's going on, and they are very big on communication. When things like this happen, they don't get upset. They don't push. They aren't quick to anger like my daughter is. So I have sat them down and definitely apologized to them. So has my husband, actually. And they are very quick to be like, well, it's okay because we know it's just because of who she is as a person, or, well, we know how she acts if she doesn't get her way, so we understand. We are all in therapy, have been for 3 years, so I do believe that helps them a lot. Thankfully, they don't take it too personally. Doesn't make it okay, but it does make it easier. Now, for the next story. I, female 21, recently found out by my younger brother that my mother and older brother have been talking with the rest of my siblings, dad, and who knows who else, expressing that they believe I never got molested as a child. When I was 9, I was getting molested by an older cousin, my mother's nephew, who my parents invited to stay in our home for a while. He had nowhere else to go. For 9 years, I never told a single soul. On the contrary, I blocked it out. It's like I never wanted to think about it and tried to convince myself I was not a victim of sexual abuse. But I know what happened. In junior year of high school, I finally told my best friend, and it lifted a huge weight off of me. We cried, we hugged, we let it all out. I never planned on telling my family. Why would I? It would only bring pain to them, especially my parents. Plus, I had dealt with it by myself up to now, and I could keep doing it. Except I then found out the cousin who molested me was coming back. That's when I knew I had to tell my parents. I knew he would be back to my home because after all those years of me not saying anything, he thought he was in the clear. I tried going to therapy so I could tell my parents without breaking down in tears in front of them. It was still 7 months before he actually came back that I kinda forgot about it. Nothing was said, so I hoped he didn't come. Till Sept of 2022, I picked up my mom from work after staying the night at my boyfriend's house, and she then told me that the cousin was back and was in my house the day before. He asked for me multiple times. I wasn't home when he was there, but I really wish I was. I would have exposed him in front of everyone. But that is when I had to tell my mom. She cried. The rest of my family found out, and it was the topic of conversation for a bit. I never once thought my parents doubted me. I will tell you, though, I did feel my brother doubting me. My parents wanted me to file a police report. I did not want to, but I did it for them. Nothing came of it because it had been so long, and sadly, I never told anyone. Of course, he denied it, but he has never shown his face again, and I was told he moved out of our city to a different one. Life moved on. I assured my whole family, even though it's the most terrible thing that has ever happened to me, I was okay. Last week, my younger brother told me that my mother and brother were saying things like, "I just can't believe it happened." He was just such a good person. I just feel like she dreamed it up. And somehow over the years it became reality in her head. Because how did he still come back to this house knowing what he did? My brother saying, "I was there all the time, we all hung out together, it just couldn't have happened." My favorite one was, "Maybe all the weed she smoked helped this dream become reality." Yep, can't make this poop up. Somehow the weed I smoked almost a decade later when I was 16 caused me to make poop up? Plus, not to mention, I literally smoked weed like every other teenager, nothing crazy. I was furious when I found this out. I know it's not healthy, but I hold grudges very, very deep in me. I confronted my mother while my dad was present. She denied everything. She said my younger brother asked her if she still felt sad over what happened to me, and she says that she only said that she hoped it had been a dream. So who said this? Who said that? Where is my younger brother getting this from? I replied. Crickets. I told her, you know what? Don't believe me. I know what happened. He knows what he did to me. And since she's so religious, I threw in the, and God knows what happened to me. I told her I don't plan on sharing or living my life with people who think I'm freaking crazy, even if it's family. I told her that a brother is supposed to defend a sister no matter what. He is no longer my brother. He's dead to me, and as for you, I'll always be there if you need me because I don't think I could ever cut my mother off completely. I won't have you two talking poop behind my back trying to convince others that it didn't happen. I left her talking and stormed off, and she still screamed an insult out at me. As for my older brother, I know I will never talk to him again because I heard his response after he found out what I said about him, and it was, "I don't give a frick. I don't need anything from her anyways." I'm sorry this is so long. There's so much more to this story, but these are the main parts. Should I have just let this go? Did I take it too far? Am I in the wrong? Just weigh in your thoughts, questions, please. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your family gives the word family a bad name. Cut out the toxicity and never look back. You deserve so much better than any of them have treated you. If someone raped my sister, let's just say I would do something to the cousin that if I described it here, I would be permanently removed from Reddit. Also, block your mom until she realizes how much she has failed you. Do not accept any contact unless it's a very serious apology. Comment 2. I know exactly how you feel. No, I don't think that you took it too far. Hell, completely cutting your mother off still wouldn't put you in the wrong. My little brother and cousins were around me very often in my childhood when we were in the bastard's room. He still found the time and a way. Are there any other relatives you can talk to? One who you really trust? Comment 3. Not the idiot, I'm in the same boat as you, unfortunately. It gets better, there are good days, there are bad days. But for me personally, when I cut off everyone involved and all their supporters, anxiety I didn't even know had been paralyzing me for years just disappeared. I wish you nothing but the best. Now, for the next story. One of my business clients threw this formal house party that I was obligated to go to. I didn't really know too many people there, so I figured I would go with a girl. I asked this girl, Kate, who I had been seeing for a few weeks, if she wanted to be my date for the night, and she said yes. She later sent me a picture of herself in a dress saying that's what she was going to wear. Now, this dress was very revealing and showed her whole chest except for her nipples, basically. It was also very short, putting the entire backside on display. I mean, it's something I'd expect a stripper to wear. I told her to pick another dress and that she could not wear that to the event because there's a certain standard. She said that it's her body and she can wear whatever she wants. I said, you either wear something more appropriate or I don't take you. She said, cool, don't take me then. I ended up going with a different girl, Lisa, and we had a great time. The next day, Kate calls me an idiot for ditching her and going with somebody else. I told her that I would have gone with her, but she didn't listen to me. Kate said I have no authority over her dress choice and that I should have taken her wearing that dress because that's what gives her confidence. That makes no sense to me. Am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. The party required people to dress formal, and they had a certain standard of what was allowed and what wasn't allowed to be worn. She refused to follow those rules, be immature, and say, "It's my body, I can wear what I want." Yes, even though she's right with this, it would still be inappropriate to wear at that party. She shouldn't be mad at you. It wouldn't have been appropriate for the occasion. Comment 2. You did the right thing. This was at a client's home, not a nightclub. Most adults know the difference, but obviously Kate is a little too immature and self-centered to know that. You are not the idiot. And yes, you do have authority over her dress choice in a situation like this. Unless you are a pimp and your client is a John, her dress was over the top wrong. Comment 3. Not the idiot. But taking random dates to work functions is going to bite you in the ass again at some point, though. Just a matter of time before one of them says or does something just as inappropriate as wearing the wrong dress. Highly recommend going dateless or vetting your dates a bit more in advance. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.